Thank you, gentlemen, for coming tonight. One of the things I don't like about these candidates tonight is trying to decide what question to ask. I have a lot. I jotted down a question here because I heard a couple of different things from both of you about who you serve. Heard, you're protecting the Constitution. I've heard I'm here to serve the will of the people. My question is, what do you do when the will of the people conflicts with your other responsibility, which is to protect and defend the Constitution? And the reason I ask that is because the way things seem to be heading is that there is going to potentially be a conflict there with cuts that are going to be necessary over the long haul. So, start with Gibbs.
If there's a conflict with what I believe the Constitution says, which is what might be the will of the people, obviously I take an oath to uphold the Constitution. There's a couple of amendments I have no problem with, the 16th and 17th Amendment, but that's the way it is. But obviously I take an oath to uphold the Constitution, and one thing I learned in the legislature here in Ohio, when we're looking at a piece of legislation to decide how to vote, number one thing we look at as a caucus or myself is this constitutional? Because we have an obligation to pass laws that are constitutional. Now, obviously, there's things that get gray and not clear. That's why you have the judicial branch. Somebody can challenge that, and that's a checks and balances. But we have an obligation not to knowingly pass constitutional legislation. Okay, and then what I've always done too in the legislature. If it passes the library, it's constitutional muster. That's the first one. And the second one is good for the people of Ohio. This is good public policy for the people of Ohio. Pass it, that number 2 test. Then the number 3 test, political test, is good for the politics of it. And that's how I've always kind of looked at it. And when you look through the Constitution and read it and study it, which I do all the time, I carry it with me. There's some things that states should be doing, and there's some things the federal government should be doing. It's pretty clear what the federal government should be doing. National defense, making sure that we're secure, and I think our founding fathers had it right when they put this together as a republic and make states kind of like laboratories. And that's why I like to see one of that. Nobody's asked a question about health care, what we need to do. But one aspect is, how do we handle people that are medically incurable? I'd like to see states develop programs and be a laboratory to try to figure out some of these things like that where we don't really have good answers. And because the federal government does it, they'll screw it up. They'll be bureaucracy and they'll just mess it up. But if you have states doing it and a state messes it up, the impact on it is not as great. And, 50 states are doing something and accepting different things. Maybe one will do it right. Because some of these answers, I don't think anybody has the answer. We've got to figure it out and work through it. So, obviously, we have to abide by the Constitution. I take it over for that. And we can have some constitutional questions if you want to how I feel about certain things.